The final clock-in light blinked red as the hospital corridor swallowed her footsteps, and with that single silent moment, a nurse who had given everything was erased from the place she once called home. Her badge no longer worked, her locker stood empty, and the echoes of machines and hurried shoes faded behind her as if she had never mattered. This was her last shift, the end of years spent holding trembling hands, cleaning unseen wounds, and choosing compassion even when no one noticed. She walked out into the cold morning air believing this was how her story ended, quietly, unfairly, and alone, unaware that before the sun set, the sky itself would come looking for her. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing good even when no one is watching, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel Bright Hearts. Your support helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. She had started that final shift the same way she always did, tying her hair back with practiced fingers, smoothing the creases of her faded uniform, and whispering a small promise to herself that no matter what happened, she would give her patients everything she had. The hospital had changed over the years. Budgets tightened, patients thinned, and administrators began measuring worth in numbers rather than lives. She was known as reliable but invisible, the nurse who stayed late without being asked, who filled gaps when others were overwhelmed, who absorbed the emotional weight so others could breathe. But reliability rarely earns applause, and invisibility makes it easy to blame someone when systems fail. The reason for her dismissal was written neatly on a form: procedural non-compliance during an emergency. It ignored context, ignored the fact that the emergency involved multiple critical patients and not enough staff, ignored that her decisive. What she did not know was that on the other side of the city, chaos was unfolding. A multi-vehicle collision on a highway had overwhelmed local emergency services, sending dozens of critical patients to the nearest trauma centers. At the same time, a separate crisis erupted, a remote industrial accident involving hazardous conditions that required rapid, specialized medical response. 2 air rescue teams were mobilized, their rotors slicing through the sky as they coordinated with hospitals on the ground. Protocols were reviewed, names checked, and then a strange problem emerged. The teams needed someone with a rare combination of trauma expertise, calm under pressure, and field adaptability. Someone who had trained beyond standard hospital walls. Someone whose name appeared again and again in old incident reports as the nurse who made impossible situations survivable. Her name surfaced quietly at first, then insistently. A senior flight medic remembered how she had once coordinated an emergency response during a citywide blackout, improvising systems that later became best practice. Another recalled her time assisting in disaster drills far beyond her job description. Records confirmed it. She was no longer on staff. Phones rang across the hospital administration offices. Confusion turned to urgency. Policies suddenly felt small compared to the scale of what was unfolding. The reality was stark, lives were hanging in the balance, and the one person uniquely suited to help had been let go hours earlier. As she sat at home, staring at a cup of untouched tea, the distant thudding sound reached her ears. At first, she thought it was traffic or construction. Then the sound grew heavier, rhythmic, unmistakable. Helicopters. She stepped outside, heart pounding, and looked up to see not one but 2 air rescue helicopters circling lower than usual, their presence commanding attention from everyone on the street. Neighbors emerged from their homes, pointing skyward in confusion.